Hey, this is Fingers Malloy. We talk about the Noblesville shooting during this podcast, and I mistakenly remarked during the recording that no student was shot. One little 13-year-old girl was shot, is in critical but stable condition, but I wanted to correct what I had said during the recording and throw this up there before the start of the show.
Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there, it's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy O'Connors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Enough Already podcast. My name is Fingers Malloy. Tracy L. Connors, the co-host of its wonderful show, joins me. Hello, Tracy. How are you?
I'm fine, Fingers. Can I borrow some of the Adderall you seem to be on?
It's unbelievable. I've had quite a day today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a stressful day for a number of people, and I don't want to make it sound like, we're part of this tragedy because I'm fortunate that my kids were not involved in the shooting in Noblesville, Indiana. We're recording on a Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day. I'm in Noblesville. I live in Noblesville, Tracy. My kids go to school in Noblesville, but they are in another school district than Noblesville West Middle School is where the shooting took place. It's on the other side of town. And apparently what happened was I believe a 7th grade boy walked into the school with a gun and started shooting. And a science teacher jumped on him, got the gun away from him. The science teacher was shot in 3 places, the abdomen, the hip, and the forearm. He was rushed to surgery. He is, as far as I know, Friday evening, he's in stable condition, and it looks like he's going to make a full recovery.
Wow.
So it was a stressful time here in central Indiana and in Noblesville. My family, we know kids that go to that school. Thankfully, everyone that we know, and it seems like everyone, for the most part, is okay. No injuries from the shooting as far as the student body goes, other than apparently one student has a broken ankle. I don't know how that happened yet, but the students are fine physically, and this teacher, who's a hero for jumping on this kid and getting the gun away from him, it looks like he's going to pull through as well. So, but getting on Twitter and trying to get the breaking news, the lava hot takes, Tracy, that were on the Noblesville West hashtag today.
Giving Hawaii a run for its money?
Oh, yeah. Do something. Can we talk about guns?
Sure, we can talk about guns.
I think we could, if we could have an honest discussion about what is happening in our country, I think maybe there would be some movement somewhere as far as what we can do to solve this problem. But when the gun grabbers come out, as soon as the breaking news hits with their agenda, it's clear that we can't have an honest discussion about what to do regarding school shootings.
Well, and you're also starting from a false premise that there's anything that can really be done to stop this forever and ever.
Well, right. When I say we need to have a discussion, I think that there are things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
We need to beef up school security. Where we're going to get the money, who knows? Maybe we could start by using some of the money that we fund Planned Parenthood with. Republicans.
Sure. Or you could also use your local tax base.
Yes.
Part of your property taxes, instead of paying for retired teachers to sit on their asses to the tune of almost their full salary. And then not even to mention the administrators. What does your superintendent make? 6 figures?
Of course.
And what do they do? Call snow days?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
money to be had to do this.
We could eliminate the Department of Education tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Beef up school security with that budget. I mean, I don't like doing it federally.
You just shut down all schools.
Well, there's that too. That's never going to happen.
That's the only way to guarantee there'll never be another school shooting.
But we can't have any kind of discussion about this at all because immediately the gun grabbers come out and say it's the guns. Why can't we do something about gun violence in this country? We need to just get rid of the guns. Just don't hire the unicorn that's getting drugs and prostitution off the street because that unicorn's doing a terrible job. Sorry. I was doing the lawn work and I got grass in my throat.
No, it sounded like you were holding in a bong hit there.
Yeah. Puff, puff, give.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like I said, my kids are okay. I've had several people hit me up asking me how everyone is doing. And again, while I appreciate the sentiment, we are very fortunate that our kids' school was not targeted. And I don't know what I can't wrap my head around the idea that a 13-year-old would bring a gun to school and start shooting. And here's where things got crazy. So the shooting happens. They get the suspect in custody. So you have an active crime scene at this middle school. You have to move the students out of there as quickly as possible. So they bus these kids over to the high school. Then there's a bomb threat at the high school.
Oh, God.
Unconfirmed reports, the scuttlebutt, and I can understand why school administrators would take this seriously. Because if something were to truly happen and they did nothing, then all hell would break loose. I heard on 93 WIBC, where Tony Katz does his show weekdays, there was a report that there were kids slamming doors in Noblesville High School yelling, "It's a bomb, it's a bomb." And that's where the bomb threat supposedly came from. Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? Kids will be kids, but I don't know about you. When I was a teenager many, many moons ago, and something like that happened in the middle school where maybe some of my classmates' brothers and sisters were in class, I think the last thing I would be doing is pulling bomb pranks in the high school where these kids were being evacuated to. So,
yeah, but you say that now as a full-grown adult.
I'd like to think I wouldn't have acted that way as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm quite mature and always have been, Tracy.
Yes, of course. If I was only given 3 adjectives to describe you, mature would definitely be one of them.
Oh, my goodness. So that was my day, and if I see one more person get on social media and send a snarky tweet or Facebook post about thoughts and prayers, I think I'm going to go nuts. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to the teacher.
All the assholes.
Yeah.
That can't contain themselves.
Right. Oh, your thoughts and prayers mean nothing. Your thoughts and prayers do nothing. Oh, really? Neither do your snarky tweets.
Well, some of our thoughts do. Here's a thought. Shut the schools down. No more school shootings.
Yeah.
Or have armed guards at every school.
I mean,
make these kids go through metal detectors. Have TSA everywhere. What do you want? We're turning into a police state here.
But if it would just save one child's life, Tracy.
Of course.
It's all that matters.
Yeah, we'll play that game.
It's just for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it for the children. Think of the children.
Sure.
For once.
The people that piled debt on the heads of future generations give a shit about.
Oh, that's different.
Oh, okay. Stealing and killing. I get it now. That's the differentiator.
So, no, There's not much out there at this point about the 13-year-old that took the gun into class.
Is he 13?
I'm hearing reports he's 13. He's 7th grader.
Yeah, that's 12.
I think it'd be 12, 13.
Still, that's super young,
yeah. It doesn't matter. He's 13 or 14. This is the kind of stuff you hear about in high schools. A middle schooler bringing a gun to school to start shooting. It's just, I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, and the article that I'm reading, it said he had 2 handguns.
Yeah, so now what? It wasn't an AR-15?
Oh.
It's handguns, so and now we got to ban handguns.
Of course.
Good luck with that.
Well, all semi-automatic weapons. They've been saying that over and over again. The people that don't know what semi-automatic means, but they know it's bad.
Well, we just got to ban all handguns then.
They want all of them. Let's be honest about this. They want a massive... If they could pull off complete confiscation, they would do it. But that's a non-starter.
So,
well, at least school's out for summer now, so we can...
Yeah. And here's let me ask you this, because I was seeing a lot of this today, and like I said, this hit really close to home because I have an 8th grader and a 2nd grader, and the 8th grader is in middle school as of today. He's going to be a freshman in high school next year.
You're old.
Oh, good God. You're not kidding. But I was seeing a lot of this on Facebook from the locals around here, and most of the people that were saying this are in a different school district than where this was even happening. We're not in the same school, not in the same school district. But I was seeing parents on Facebook posting, "I'm just going to go get my kid right now. I just need to hug my kid." One is like an elementary school. I'm thinking to myself, I get feeling that way. I understand it. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of traumatic, isn't it? On the last day of school, showing up at like 11 o'clock in the morning and yanking your kid out of school. Don't you think your kid is going to ask questions as to why? The last day of school is a fun day.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing much. My kid, one of my kids, the elementary school kid, on the way home got popsicles from the bus driver.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And did she have any idea that this had happened?
No.
Yeah.
So why would I go yank her out of her classroom just to give her a hug? And to make myself feel better knowing that she's safe. I mean, this was an isolated incident, and it wasn't an elementary school. It wasn't like a 3rd grader walked in with a gun and started shooting up an elementary school in the next town. To me, that just causes, sometimes you need to step back and take a breath and not think that you could just wrap your kids in bubble wrap and keep them safe at all times. You've got to be able to think things through, and to me, yanking your kid out the last day of school for something like that, it just seems to me it would make it a more traumatic experience.
But that's not the thought going through those people's heads. They're scared and they feel helpless.
That's the problem.
Which is completely understandable.
But that's the problem with society today, is so much of everything in the public debate is based on feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you're right, that is based on feelings and emotion. Mm-hmm. I just need to go grab my kid. Okay. I mean, I don't mean to sound cold-hearted, but I had 2 kids, and I have 2 kids, and it didn't occur to me to go running and yanking them out of school on the last day. I don't know. Maybe I'm cold-hearted.
There you go.
Is that what it is, Tracy?
No, I don't think so.
Just seems like a bad move.
Well, yeah, because then you're making them more upset than they probably were. Like you said, your youngest didn't know that even happened.
Still doesn't know. Knows something happened at the school. Doesn't know that there was a kid that brought a gun into class.
Mm-hmm. But I think, if I had children, I would say to them, in this situation, when they find out about it, just talk them through it. If something like this happens, here's what you should do. And then make them feel empowered knowing these are the steps that you can take if something like that happens. And the odds of something like that happens are the odds of me getting bitten by a shark every summer. They're very small,
right.
But just giving them the awareness. If that's what happens, here's what you do. And if your teacher's freaking out, get the hell away from them.
Right. There were some awful pictures coming out of the Noblesville High School where the kids were evacuated and then they had the bomb threat.
I can totally see high schoolers doing that.
I could see it. I would just be disappointed. And God help my kid if they were responsible for a bomb threat.
Yeah.
It'd be World War IX. But, there were a lot of Snapchat.
I remember when I was in high school, bomb threats were funny. Like I can't remember my senior year how many bomb threats were called in. And this is a pre-9/11 world.
Yeah.
So it's just like, is this a fire drill or a bomb threat? Bomb threat. Okay. Haha. Who wanted to get out of a test?
I'd say this is a little different, though, if there was a shooting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get it. But you're talking about older kids that are, kind of dark. And then you got a whole bunch of young, scared kids.
Yeah.
You think, ooh, what can we do? But this speaks to the larger problem and why we have these things going on to begin with. The kids would find that funny to do to young, traumatized kids that are coming to their school for refuge.
Yeah.
So these are the discussions that we need to be having. It's not about guns. We live in this country, well, in the West, the least violent time in probably all of recorded human history. So that's the anomaly.
Well, you wouldn't know it by looking at Twitter and Facebook today.
No, of course not. But we have it so good and things are so calm that these things become incredibly upsetting because they are so rare.
Well, we'll see what happens next. I'm guessing nothing. And
no.
I'm actually, while I would like to see, in the school district that my children are in, there are resource officers there.
Good.
Yeah, I would like to see other school districts have that as well. But no, I think if you see anything in the way of some sort of gun legislation, it's going to have to do with a 13-year-old being able to get his or her hands on their parents' guns.
Right.
That's where you're going to see something, because people are asking the question right now: how can a 13-year-old leave the house with a loaded weapon, 2 handguns, and get it to middle school without the parents knowing about it?
Well, it's easy if you have 2 parents that work, or one, single parent household, and that parent works. Who knows? But with these kids, there have to be signs of this. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
You don't just snap one day and do this. This is not Michael Douglas falling down kind of deal. Yeah. It's not.
Well, on the lighter side of the news, I can tell you that I've continued my diet.
Oh, excellent.
And I am down 12 pounds at this point.
Damn.
So, yeah, what is it? 12 pounds in 12 days. And that's with one slip up of a day, but I'm back on.
Right.
I'm back on track. And I had something today, and I know we'll get to the news in a minute. I know people don't like hearing me go on and on about my fat ass and eating, but
you're an inspiration to us all.
Oh, right. I had I tried the gluten-free menu. No? Stay away from it?
Yes, there's carbs in that.
Oh, this waiter swore up and down that it was very low carb.
Tell me what you had, and I'll tell you if he's a liar.
I had a bacon double cheeseburger, and I replaced the fries with a side salad.
Okay.
And
Did you have a bun?
A gluten-free bun.
No.
No?
No.
Damn. There had to have been less carbs in it than a regular bun. No?
Sometimes the gluten-free stuff has more carbs.
Wow. I just had it. Do I have to go purge? Is that what you're telling me? I have to purge?
Please.
I'll do it.
Oh, God. You cannot have bread unless you make it yourself out of almond flour or coconut flour. Or like I told you, the bagel recipe I have, it's almond flour and mozzarella cheese.
I really thought I was onto something because the bun was terrible.
Wrong. Then just throw it away. No. Sorry.
Shit. Here's what was bad too. And I told the people I was with when I was having this burger, I said, do me a favor, want to substitute the fries, give me a house salad with ranch dressing, take out the tomatoes, are there carrots, take out the carrots. Yes, I just want lettuce, cheese.
Tomatoes are better than the bun you ate. You should just call me before every meal. I could set a menu for you every day.
But here's what happens. Can you guess what's going to happen? I order the burger. I substitute the fries with the house salad.
They bring you fries.
Yeah. They bring me the house salad. I eat the house salad, and then there's a big pile of fries with the burger. I'm son of a bitch. So I had one fry. I gave my fries to the rest of the table.
Well, that was disciplined of you.
I didn't even have ketchup with it.
No, you can't have ketchup.
So that's my life. It's pathetic.
Well, I ordered a burger last week when I was out. It's, bacon cheeseburger. I want it covered in blue cheese dressing, please. No bun. And no French fries. I don't want to see a French fry on my plate, if you do not mind. Well, here comes my burger with a plate full of fries.
What, did you eat them?
No.
Look at you.
I haven't had a carb since February.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, you eat carbs, obviously, but I haven't had more than, 25 or 30 grams in a day.
Do you think I had that bun was more than 25, 30 grams?
Potentially. I've looked at gluten-free food because I had the same thought that you did, and I'm like, no, this is just made with other types of flour.
Well,
so
damn.
It still has a decent amount of carbs, and they put sugar in it because people that are gluten intolerant can still eat sugar.
Oh, not sugar alcohol?
Right, no. You'll be all right. Did you get the...
That's all I've had to eat all day today.
Oh, you'll be fine. Did
Yesterday
you get the keto burst in the mail or no?
No, I haven't gotten the keto burst yet. I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger. I'm cheap, Tracy.
I know.
It's like $50. Like, holy crap.
I know. That's, an hour at the casino.
But I don't go to the casino that much.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been to the casino in like 2 months. And before that, it had been a long time before that.
Well, think about all the fast food. Well, I guess you're probably still eating fast food, huh?
No.
Well, there you go.
No, I cheated once with fast food last week, and all I got was a double cheeseburger or a double quarter pounder with cheese, and I had a little bit of the bun and a cup of coffee.
That's so gross.
I know. A cheeseburger and coffee. I mean, talk about being really a quarter of an inch away from being an elderly man. Why not just order a fish sandwich and a Sanka and get it over with? So, yeah.
So close.
Well, we got, let's see, we're 23 minutes in. What do you want to talk about, Tracy?
Well, I was thinking about it when you were, talking about your experiences today, and I got to go see Jordan Peterson.
No.
In Philadelphia on his 12 Rules for Life tour.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I need to amend something that I said a couple months ago when I was making fun of Comey charging people to go see him talk about his book.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did pay to go see Jordan Peterson talk about his book.
Oh? Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
How much did he charge you?
I think it was $50. I got really good seats, though.
Oh.
So if I wanted to sit in the balcony, I think I could have gone for $30.
Was it a full house?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's a smaller venue in Philadelphia. It's called the Tower Theater.
Mm-hmm.
On the last time I was there, I think I saw Fiona Apple in the late 90s.
Oh, she was hot.
So
go ahead.
it was a 3,000 seat theater, and it was sold out. And it was an incredible experience. I would encourage anybody, if he's coming to your town, to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Rubin MCs for him. And if you don't know Dave Rubin, then you should probably check him out. He's a convert from the Young Turks, which is interesting if you can imagine anybody escaping that loony left bin over there.
Is he still allowed to show up from time to time on the Young Turks?
Oh, I don't think he has any interest in it.
Oh.
No, he's really distanced himself from them and said that they're just crazy. So he started his transition maybe 2014, 2015. Mm-hmm. And I know he voted for Gary Johnson in 2016. But he's just a very open, genuinely nice guy that does really good interviews with people. So he's got the Rubin Report, and it's on YouTube. And he was a stand-up comedian as well. So he kind of came out and introed Jordan. And then all of a sudden he's like, we've got a special guest who's from Philadelphia. And out walks Candace Owens.
Oh, really?
Yes. Who I didn't know was a Philly girl. And I just thought this was so funny because last week, I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was a hit piece on Jordan in the New York Times.
No, I did not see that.
Yes. And of course, it's all the usual crap. Oh, white supremacists flock to him. The alt-right loves him. This kind of garbage.
Right.
So therefore, he must be a racist because if people like you, then you obviously take on their opinions.
Yes.
That's how it works. And so it's like, well, this is hilarious. Look at all these white supremacists cheering for this black chick. And mind you, the audience, yeah, it was predominantly white, but it wasn't uniformly so. Mm-hmm. And I'm also told that his audience is entirely male. I would say it was probably 70-30, the audience.
Is he a good-looking guy? I mean, is there any...
Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's nice looking. I think so. For a guy that I think he's 54 years old, 55 years old.
So does he have a certain appeal to him because of his looks?
But that's not what it is. No, it's about the brains more than anything. It doesn't hurt that he's, fairly attractive. Mm-hmm. But that's not why I started listening to him. You're just like, holy shit, this guy can kind of make sense of the world. He's a clinical psychologist. So, he spent a lot of time dealing with people that have serious mental problems and trying to help them through it. Mm-hmm. Plus, he was a Harvard professor for years, and now he's at University of Toronto. And Canadian universities, the state schools, like what we would think of, University of Indiana, for example, or Penn State. In Canada, those schools are the Ivies. So okay. University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, those are the top of the top. So he's teaching at University of Toronto. So he's no slouch intellectually. He's pretty brilliant. And it was so interesting because he's so humbled by this whole thing. And it's palpable, right? He's just like, I'm just blown away at the response that I'm getting to telling people, like, you got to take responsibility in your life. And these are the ways that you can go about fixing it. And yeah, life sucks. It's awful. And he says, it's a comedy or a tragedy. And it depends on how you look at everything, but everybody's going to go through tragedy. And it's how you deal with that and how you confront it that really speaks to your character. And these are things you can work on knowing that they're coming. It's going to happen to all of us. Mm-hmm. At some point in time, to being able to stand up to that. And one of the chapters in his 12 Rules for Life, he talks about the Columbine killers and how when you get to that point where you're beyond nihilism, right? You're done with life to the point where you just think it's this awful, terrible joke that was played on you. And you just hate the world so much that you want to take other people out with you.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. And how do we ever start solving that? And it starts at a very, very young age. He said the most violent, I found this really interesting. And they subdivided men, no offense fingers,
that's fine,
into groups by age. So all the 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, I don't know that they would have bothered with 1-year-olds because they're not really doing much, but 2 up to 18.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what the most violent age group is?
Oh, I would think 4 or 5.
2.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that there's a subset of those really violent 2-year-olds that don't snap out of it.
Mm.
And if you don't curb that behavior as a parent by the time they're 4, they're never coming back.
Really?
Yeah. So that made me start thinking about, well, maybe it would be good to have some kind of school for these, like, how do you do that societally? You can't force parents. And I'm not into the state forcing anybody to do anything.
Yeah.
But that's like a huge revelation. And you got to wonder about all these kids recently that have done this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff starts manifesting when they're that little. And somebody just let that fester and grow. So maybe it's just bringing that to people's attention and saying, hey, there's a whole bunch of evidence that this is what happens if you don't socialize these children, because that's what his point is. One of his chapters is don't let your children do things that make you dislike them. But it's a pretty interesting lesson, right? Like, if you don't like your kids and you love them more than anybody in the world, then who else is going to like them?
Right.
And you want your children to have other people like them.
Yeah.
From adults to other children, because most of their lives are going to be lived outside of your care. And so if they can't get along with other people in the world, they're not going to be happy people.
Makes sense.
Right?
So how long was his talk?
He spent about an hour and a half on the book, and he only got to rule 8 of the 12. And then they did a Q&A.
Did you ask a question?
No, it was you submit your questions.
Oh.
And no, they did ask him. People think he sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Oh, no.
Oh, he took it really well.
Does he?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's. I've seen him in interviews say that he has a really wicked sense of humor that he has to curb. Well, and one of the really sad things is he said he parses everything he's going to say before he says it, and has been doing so since, I think he said, the late 80s.
Mm.
And not that he saw what he is right now coming per se, but I think that's what he wanted to be doing, is speaking to such a huge audience and really reaching people.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew that if he made any misstep or anything that could be misconstrued as a misstep, that it would destroy him. So I can't imagine living on the edge like that. And one of the worst parts, like, he got choked up at a certain point talking about all this stuff. And he said he's been really, really sick. He has a strange autoimmune disease that runs in his family. And so when all of this started, which was in 2016, when he came out and said, no, you're not going to force me to use these gender pronouns. Mm-hmm. I might use them, but you can't say that I have to under threat of law. Like, that's just a step too far for me and I won't do it. He said since then he's been really, really sick. And to think about all the stuff that he's done when he's feeling like complete garbage, is truly unbelievable. And so he's actually changed his entire diet. His daughter has the same disease, and it's actually worse with her. I think she had a hip replacement when she was 15 or 16.
Jesus. Yeah,
her bones started deteriorating and all this. So she has gotten it under control through diet. And I think the only thing she eats is meat. She can't have any greens, nothing, no vegetables, nothing like that, just meat.
Wow.
So he's on a variation of that. I think he can have some vegetables and stuff. But he said, today, and this was on Wednesday, is the first day I've felt happy in over 2 years.
Mm.
And it's just like, wow, dude, you've been taking the slings and arrows of the entire world, and you're feeling like shit the whole time, and you've battled through this. Like, other people need to suck it the hell up.
Did it make you want to go up there and give him a hug?
It really did.
You?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I would, if I had run into him, because you did ask me when I told you I saw him. I'm like, oh, did you get to meet him? And I'm like, no, I got out of there. But normally in something like that, I would kind of look at the setup of the place and be like, okay, if I was working on the production end of this, how would I get them in and out? Oh, I would go that way. So I would just wait. where so I could meet them. It's not that hard to figure those things out. And I
Right.
would just have said, like, I don't know, Dr. Peterson, if you're a hugger or not, but like I would just like to give you a hug and say thank you. But he did say an average of 4 people a day, if he's out and about in public, come up to him and say, listening to you has changed my life for the better.
Wow.
And that's when he got choked
Yeah, I was
up.
gonna say, that's a powerful moment right there.
Yeah. He said a minimum of 4 people. It's like, this is good. And that makes me actually have a lot of hope that people are waking up to this stuff. And, you know, the leftist ideal is that you can't take care of yourself. And that's why you need the big state and you need them, the brainiacs, to prescribe your life for you.
Okay, well, he said that minimum 4 people a day.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least an average of 4 people a day come up to him.
Right.
And
Yeah, he's like, when I'm actually out and doing things.
does
you
he encounter lefty hate when he's out and about?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
but yeah.
I was wondering if it's mostly social media stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen him I was wondering if there was going to be protesters outside of his event. And this was something that I thought was actually very clever because there was a long line to get in. And the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania was there getting people to sign petitions for candidates to run for office.
That's smart.
Yeah, I said that to them, and they didn't have my county. And I was annoyed. I was like, why isn't somebody from my county here? And they're like, well, because it's a little bit further. Where I live is further away from the city. But I was like, this was really smart. This was really smart thing to do. So, yeah, the Republican Party wasn't there. Shocker. But good for the Libertarian Party.
I got nothing. I don't even want to get into the Republican Party. I think we talked about it last week with Rand Paul. Didn't
No,
we?
it's a joke. But that's why it made me happy to be like, oh my God, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania is actually hustling. Like, I reached out to the head of the Libertarian Party in my county, and I was like, tell me what's up, what I can do. And he's like, yeah, sure. I haven't heard a word since. Because he's like, a lot of people don't want to do like the grunt work. I'm like, I'm ready to do grunt work, dude. Ready to do it. Happy to do it. When can I do it? Crickets.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give up on that. I'll just take over the damn party.
There you go. Hand out hugs, too,
Yeah, if you want to.
while you're at it.
Well, it depends on how clean the people are. I'm serious. Jordan Peterson was wearing like a nice tailored suit. I'm not going to hugging vagrants.
And in his mid-50s, he probably smelled like Drakkar. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So,
Nah, I don't think so. I think he
Joop?
probably pays a little bit more. He's going to be in Indianapolis, fingers.
oh, when?
June 15th. It's a Friday night.
I'd love to make it, but I can't.
Oh.
My stupid day job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, call out. Take the 15-year-old.
Well, she's 14.
Well, okay, fair enough. She would still get something out of it.
She's open-minded.
Yeah, and lots of cute young boys will be there. It was above average attractiveness in the audience, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm.
Was the quality like it would be if you were going to a restaurant and you're evaluating the wait staff at, say, Los Angeles? Is that good?
No, not people that want to be actors attractive.
No.
No. But it was interesting because it was like the CPAC crowd mixed with the Freedom Fest crowd mixed with the biker bar.
Oh, nice.
There's lots of kids like covered in tattoos and stuff, and the age ranged from teenagers all the way up to 70 and 80-year-olds.
Well, it's nice to see that message has a broad appeal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you got...
And I don't know if the audio turned out, but I did record the whole thing, so we'll have to listen to it. And if it's anyway decent, I'm happy to put it out on the feed.
Oh, that would be great. Do you think we need permission to do that?
No, people were openly filming it during the whole thing.
I mean, but to throw it in the podcast, do you think that people would be...
I don't know.
Not people. You think he would be upset?
No, I don't
He's
think
an
so.
educator.
Yeah, I mean, he's put his lectures are all online, and people take on YouTube. People take clips of him all the time and put it up on their own damn channels and monetize it.
Hmm.
So I'll just have to hear how the quality is, but I think it's interesting to hear what the audience reacted to. And at the end, I think he got about a minute and a half of a standing ovation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
From Philadelphia, for Christ's sake. You guys boo
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
I know, but it was funny because Dave Rubin said, like, this is like the calmest, chillest crowd that we've been in front of. It's like, huh, who would have thought that?
Well, now I'm going to have to go to see if he gets in front of the Indianapolis crowd. Says, this is the calmest, chillest crowd we've ever been in front of.
Oh, maybe. I do think that you should go get your friend Tony Katz and go check it out.
Yeah,
Tony should have him in the studio that day.
he should.
Absolutely. He's in Louisville the night before, so they don't have a long drive in between the two.
Man, I just wish it were a Saturday night so I could check it out.
Oh, he's in Milwaukee on Saturday.
I love Milwaukee. Maybe it's worth
I know
making a
you
trip.
do.
I can't believe you don't like Milwaukee. Who doesn't like
Well.
Milwaukee?
It's a ghost town. I could have laid down in the most in the thoroughfare at rush hour and not gotten hit.
Speaking of Wisconsin, and I don't really want to get too far into this, but I guess every year they release a survey of the 20 drunkest cities in America.
Mm-hmm.
10 out of the 20 were in Wisconsin.
Well, what else is there to do there?
Right?
It's like cheese and booze.
Yeah. So I think Green
The
Bay.
package.
I think Green Bay was city, the number one. You're so drunk town in the United States. So
Wow.
congratulations, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Philadelphia didn't make the list, and it really amazes me because watching that celebration after your team won the Super Bowl and seeing someone bend over and eat horse shit right off the ground.
Yeah, we're
takes an
classy like that.
extra special drunk to be able to do that.
You'd think New Orleans would be the drunkest town
Yeah.
just because of the open container.
So I'm
And
heading
like
down.
Vegas, it gets, slanted because of the tourists. So, yeah.
Right. So I'm heading down to. I'm heading south in July, and I'm heading to Biloxi, Mississippi, because they have casinos. And I had a choice of either flying to New Orleans and driving to Biloxi, or flying to Florida and heading to Biloxi. And the flights
Did you
didn't
pick
work
Florida?
out. No, the flights
Oh.
didn't work out with New Orleans. I'd have to leave for home at 5:40 in the morning
That's no good.
from New Orleans. Yeah, that's not going to happen. The only way that would happen is if I stayed up all night. And I'm too old for that shit. Do the bars? You've been in New Orleans on several occasions. Do the bars close at 2 a.m.
don't-
or they don't close?
No,
Oh.
I don't think so.
New Orleans they have drive-through daiquiri bars, right?
Yeah.
Unreal. Almost makes me want to go there.
Yeah.
If
It's a weird place, man. The voodoo is real. That town has some bad juju. 24 New Orleans bars that are open 24 hours a day.
Good Lord. Nothing good can come of being at a bar at 4:30 in the morning. You know?
I don't know.
Last time I was up that late drinking in a bar, I woke up in my hotel suite in Vegas the next day not knowing where I was and had 4 trays of room service and apparently had a party I didn't know had happened. So I still wonder if you guys...
You still don't know.
I still wonder if you guys are yanking my chain, but I'm pretty certain you guys aren't because you were pretty adamant that you were going to bed that night. And I kept going.
Yes, I did go to bed that night.
So, God only knows who was up in my hotel suite, racking up $120 room service bill. It wasn't just me. I'm fat, but I'm not that fat. Well, what else? What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's so much going on this week. And it's just like, I'm totally into the what the hell happened with the spies kind of thing. And I'm just cackling maniacally about how everybody's hung up on the word spy. I think the latest that I saw was the Democrats are insisting, and the media is helping them, that it was a, what are they calling it? Something, crap, now I got to look this up. I know that the word human is shoved in there as if that needs to be said. It's very bizarre, right?
Yeah.
It's a confidential human informant.
Mm.
Because, they were having this really serious problem with those horse spies. Just weren't working out.
It's true.
So we need a confidential human informant. It's like, you people are all full of shit.
You know what they call
Everybody
those people?
gets it.
A rat.
Huh.
A rat.
Exactly. That's what it was. They sent in a rat.
Yeah.
To go solicit. And I have a very good friend that's also an attorney, and he's been digging into this, and I'm following a bunch of other attorneys on Twitter that have been digging into all these things and kind of putting out stuff. And so I've been going back and forth with my attorney friend saying, wait a minute, does this make sense? Does that make sense? Why were they sending Halper in and then Steele? Like, I don't understand. Was Halper the Obama administration and Steele's the Clintons, and they're paying for all of this? And how does this all make sense? And his thing is like, well, they were running two different operations because you want to cover as many bases as possible. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. I can follow. And then the timeline is all kind of screwy because they don't get a FISA warrant until October, we don't think. But they tried to get one in June. They tried to get one in July, in the beginning of July, in the end of July. And there's a whole thing that I still don't totally understand that my attorney buddy sent me. And he's like, read this article. So I read it and I say, I don't understand half of this crap. And my undergrad degree is basically pre-law. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know what this stuff means. These 702s that they keep talking about.
Oh, you don't know what a 702 is? I thought everybody knew what a 702 is.
So as far as I understand, the NSA's master pipeline, this is how this was explained to me. So, the NSA steals all of our stuff. Mm-hmm. We all know this. Even though, Clapper lies about that.
Alexa's stealing all of our stuff.
Yeah, and then writing emails about it. She's such a bitch. I'm going to have a serious talk with her when I get home. So my understanding, and this could be totally wrong, so just hang with me because this is fun and it's stuff that I love, is that NSA pipeline of all the information was being accessed by all kinds of people. And then Admiral Mike Rogers finds out about this, and he shuts that pipeline down.
Okay.
In April of 2016. So if one had access to that pipeline, and this includes third parties, so it's potential that Fusion GPS could have accessed that stuff. Because Fusion GPS, I don't know if you knew this, Fingers, it's populated by a bunch of ex-spooks.
Really?
Well, Nellie Orr, whose husband is over at, I can't remember if he's at Justice. I think he's either at Justice or the FBI. Nellie Orr joins Fusion GPS. And I'm such a dork that I printed out Cheryl Atkinson's timeline of all this crap. And then I spent a couple hours reading over it and trying to piece this all together. But Nellie Orr goes to Fusion GPS in, April of 2016. She's former CIA. And she might have actually already been there. But you know what she did April 2016?
What's that?
She applied for a ham radio license.
What?
Yeah, I kid you not. How fucking weird is that? Who has ham radio in 2016? Oh, Nellie Orr does. So yeah.
Why do you have to get a ham radio license?
That's what I don't understand. I don't know why you go through that, but if you know that the NSA could sweep up just about everything, what's the one safe thing that still exists? Ham radio. So yes, Cheryl Atkinson's timeline has this. This is May 23rd, 2016. Nellie Orr, the wife of the Justice Department Associate Deputy Director General, which is a long ass title that means he's pretty important, Bruce Orr, and a former CIA worker, Nellie is, goes on the payroll of Fusion GPS and assists with the anti-Trump political opposition research. Huh. Weird. And her husband, Bruce, reportedly fails to disclose this. Huh. So this is right at the time that this NSA pipeline of information gets cut off to third-party people.
Listen, maybe this person... What's her name again?
Nellie Orr.
Nellie Orr. Maybe she's very high-strung and she needs a hobby, and her hobby just happens to be ham radio. Who are we to judge, Tracy?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Could happen.
That's what it is. And she applied for a license? Like, what kind of a dum-dum?
Right?
Will they not give it to you? I don't understand. You can just buy one of those or make one, right?
It's easier to buy a ham radio in Chicago than it is a book, Tracy. Everybody knows that. Right.
I was going to say, I probably could get a ham radio easier than I can get Sudafed. My God. So if you think about this, and this is accurate, this whole, like, okay, the NSA pipeline gets shut off. And so that means they're blind. They can't just be spying willy-nilly. Oh, what happens the very next month? This is when people start approaching Papadopoulos and Page and asking them, saying there's this guy, Joseph Mifsud, who talks to them about the Hillary Clinton emails. I believe that's what it is. And this all gets so confusing because there's so many sets of goddamn emails in this whole thing. Because you've got Hillary's emails, and what they're talking about in that instance is the 33,000 emails that none of us have ever seen. Those are the bleach bit emails.
Okay.
Then you've got Podesta's emails, and then you've got the DNC emails. So I think one of the things that the left and the media have going for them is that people get confused about which emails we're talking about. Because I kind of did too. And then you realize that what this guy is approaching Papadopoulos about, Mifsud, appears to be Hillary Clinton's missing 33,000 emails. And that the Russians have those. But, Fingers, it's 2018, May. Have we seen her 33,000 emails?
Of course not.
Weird.
Oh, and by the way, side note to this, you can get a President Ronald 10-meter amateur ham radio for $139 from Walmart.
I think we should buy them and then just start getting on them and be like, Nellie? Nellie, are you there?
Breaker 19. Breaker 19.
What do you know, Nell? What do you know?
I would talk into it like a CB radio, but that's just me.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Do you have to say stuff like breaker?
Yeah, breaker 19, breaker 19. This is the Golden Eagle. Anyone got their ears on out there?
I think we're talking about hosting a ham radio show now on the weekend. It's just you and me and whoever else is tuned in.
Yep.
Have you guys talked to Nellie Orr? You know her? What kind of code name do you think she'd have? What do they call them? Their it's not their signal, is it their sign?
Handle.
Their handle.
That's right.
Right, like Twitter.
Handle. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Wow.
I
think we're on to something. We just pretty much will do it on a show on ham radio, and we'll call it Coast to Coast Radio. What do you think?
Oh, it's brilliant. Think anybody owns that?
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna look up for coasttocoast.com and see what happens.
Oh.
But yeah, so all this timing stuff got me suspect. And then so my new assumption is their eyes got shut off when this 702 whatever the hell that was got shut down by Mike Rogers. So they need a new way to start spying. So this is when the human intelligence assets or whatever the hell we're calling them, the spies, start trying to penetrate the Trump team.
The rats.
Yes. They send the rats into the sinking ship. And, of course, nobody bites on this. And nobody knows anything about it in the Trump world. Because everybody that's been indicted, which is what they always point to, oh my God, there's all these indictments. It's like they're all indicted for, well, a couple of them for lying. And then Manafort's indicted for money laundering. This has nothing to do with Trump and these emails and the Russians. And there's a lot in Cheryl Atkinson's timeline is absolutely amazing. And there's a woman, Alexandra Chalupa, she's not a Taco Bell special that runs from time to time. But she has a real bug up her ass about Manafort and starts rattling the cage about Manafort. And the FBI had Manafort under investigation in 2014. But so Cheryl Atkins has this March 25th, Ukrainian-American operative for the Democratic National Committee, Alexandra Chalupa, meets with top Ukrainian officials at the Ukrainian embassy in Washington, D.C. to, quote, expose ties between Trump, top campaign aide Paul Manafort, and Russia. So this is a Politico article. She's talking about March 25th, 2016. Manafort's hired as the campaign manager to handle the Republican convention 4 days later. So I have serious questions about Manafort. The man was business partners with the Podestas.
Yeah. My question for you is, because you pay a lot closer attention to this stuff than I do. Cheryl Atkinson, she's been doing a lot of good work.
Oh, yeah.
How does the left treat her? I mean, because I know they would obviously try to attack her, but do you think they ignore her because she's so good at what she does? Yeah,
I think so. And it's really hard to pin her to anything because she is as apolitical as you can get, in my opinion. I've read both of her books and I follow her on Twitter and I look at her reporting and there's no opinion, really. Mm-hmm. And she's being screwed with still. You know, her computer was hacked. She was spied on. And for some reason, I don't know why Trump hasn't, through his power in the executive branch, which oversees all these intelligence agencies, said, stop fucking with Cheryl Atkinson and tell her what the hell you guys did to her. So she's super hip to this stuff and paying attention to it. And she knows that Comey's a liar, Clapper's a liar, Brennan's a liar. They're dangerous liars. And she also doesn't trust Obama because this all happened under him, all the stuff that happened to her.
Where was she working at the time when all that happened to her?
I think it was CBS, I want to say.
I mean, this isn't a person that you would think, at the time when Obama was screwing with her, rabid right-wing journalist.
Right. No, she's not.
I mean, this isn't like, this was the darling of Fox News, so Obama, you had a mission to take her down. It sounds like that, like you said, everything that I've seen from her, most of it lately has been scrutinizing the characters you just mentioned. But it isn't something where I've thought, okay, this woman is a partisan.
No, and she was at CBS. So she just won't stop digging into things and asking why.
Maybe she's just one of the few people left that are still willing to ask questions of people of power in both parties. And the Obama administration wasn't used to that.
Oh, no. And CBS wasn't putting up with it.
No.
So, no, she has a great timeline, and she updates it all the time when new information comes out. And I also went through and added in the Republican primary dates, thinking, okay, when would it have made sense to start attacking Trump, knowing that he's going to be the nominee? Because really, why waste any time? Everybody thought it was going to be Jeb and Hillary.
Right.
So those dates kind of lined up with this stuff too. Super Tuesday, you and I remember this because we were at CPAC that same week. And everybody was so upset and devastated. So that was March 1st.
Right.
Everybody's pretty much gone after that except for Rubio, Cruz, Kasich, and Trump. And this made me laugh when I was reading the Wikipedia page that has all the dates. Mm-hmm. They also have who they endorsed after they dropped out. Do you know who Kasich says he voted for in 2016?
Did he for the general?
Yes.
Did he vote for Evan McMullen?
No.
Did he vote for Hillary?
No, even better.
Jill Stein?
Yes, my friends. He voted for me. He voted for John
McCain?
McCain. Yes.
Wow.
At least according to Wikipedia. So then Super Tuesday 2 is what they called it, was March 15th. And that's when Rubio dropped out. So at that point in March 2016, it's pretty clear that Trump is going to win. So if you imagine that that the next month they get cut off from all of their spying capabilities, they got to find a new way in.
How does he not vote for Gary Johnson? If he
How does he not just vote for himself? I really think he just voted for himself.
Yeah.
Honestly,
probably.
I'm want to write myself in when I vote. And I'm not even close to the egomaniac that John Kasich is.
Wow. And he may run again in 2020.
Oh, I know. They keep having him on my Sunday shows. It's like nobody wakes up in the morning wondering, what does John Kasich think about all of this? What would he do with Kim Jong-un?
He wouldn't even win re-election if he could run again in Ohio.
No. He's one of those people where you feel embarrassed for him when you see him.
Yeah. But he's another one, though, that's every bit the prick that Donald Trump is.
Oh, yeah.
Every bit the prick Donald Trump is, but he's a more polished prick.
Care to rephrase?
No.
Okay, good.
Can that be the name of this week's episode?
Yes.
Oh, well, we're an hour in, Tracy. Anything else?
I know. Let me think about it. I think we can let everything go.
Remember, you can always catch the Enough Already podcast on Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, iTunes, and YouTube.
And we should really, fingers, thank our international listeners.
That's true.
Because it tickles me to see that people are listening to us in Egypt.
It's crazy, isn't it, to look at the stats? Our home base is SoundCloud. And forgive me, let me, over the next 10 seconds, pull up our stats and just look at where people are tuning in from here. Let's just say in the last year. What the hell? How long have we been doing this?
Over a year and a half, I think.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I know, I was just looking at this.
SoundCloud changed the way you can look at your statistics. And we have to pay more.
That's fine. I'm paying more right now, so just keep talking.
That's unbelievable to me. What happened? Well, SoundCloud, it's actually worried me a little bit because SoundCloud, there have been rumors over the past, say, 6 months or so that SoundCloud was going to go under. And now to see this, wow. We used to be able to every week take a look at who's listening from where, and this may creep some of you out a little bit. We can.
Well, it doesn't tell us your address.
Well, no, it tells us what city you're in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say Phil Johnson on 123 Fake Street in Walla Walla, Washington is listening. It doesn't get that in depth, but we can kind of tell who's listening or where people are listening. We're not going to stop by your house. But if we did do that, you'd be damn lucky. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can update, just refresh fingers. I paid for it.
Wow.
Sweet. We've got the Russian Federation listening. Thank you very much. And if one of you would please email me or hit me up on Twitter at Tracy L. Connors. I'm dying to know, fingers. I have this whole thing that plays in my head to make myself laugh. That they have some Russian equivalent of The Daily Show or, some nightly comedy news thing where they just play a loop of all CNN, MSNBC, and all of them talking about the Russia thing and just die laughing every day. They're like, look at all this credit they give us. We take down American democracy. Screw you. We set up troll farm. We put up 10 Facebook posts.
Yeah.
We disrupt entire election. And then 2 years later, they still talk about us. Oh, it's so pathetic. Oh, and our troll farm case was back in court this week.
Oh, boy.
And I got to tell the listeners it's going to be 90 days, I think, until they're back in court, because now the government says they might have 2 trillion bytes
Dun, dun, dun.
of Russian information. But yeah, so we've got the U.S. is obviously leading the pack. Right behind it is our friends to the north, America's attic, Canada. Thank you very much. Then the Russian Federation. Hello, Vladimir. The UK, Germany, Egypt, Denmark, Slovenia. So Melania was obviously visiting her family and listened to us while she was on the road. Thank you.
Well, I pulled up the last 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
We have listeners in over 50 countries.
Wow.
Tracy. Canada, Japan, like you said.
Domo arigato.
Yeah, Mexico, Australia, Israel, Ireland, France, Poland, Spain. I won't go through them all. But some are, Egypt, like you said, Indonesia, Vietnam.
Nice.
Peru.
Is Latvia listening or not? Because you give them shout-outs
I
all the
do
time.
give them shout-outs all the time. No Latvia. How disappointing is that? Malaysia, though.
Sweet.
Mozambique.
Nice.
Nicaragua.
Do you know where that is?
Mozambique?
Yeah.
That's in Africa, isn't it?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Why do you make me question myself?
I don't know.
Why would you ask me that question?
I just wanted to know.
Do you think I'm a dummy? Now's the
No,
time.
but a lot of people aren't very good with geography.
Now's the time. Spill
I
it.
don't think you're dumb.
All right.
I just wanted to know if I can go to bar trivia with you or not. I think you just made the cut. I like Mozambique's flag. It looks like they've got a cross. There's a star with a book on top of it, and then it looks like a hoe, not like the rap video hoe, but the garden kind.
Oh, I thought I was going to look and see Christina Aguilera on the
No,
flag.
come on,
okay.
fingers to show your age. And then it appears to be some kind of assault rifle with a bayonet.
Oh.
It's a pretty ballsy flag there.
Yeah.
I like you guys. Welcome to the fold.
Unlike the Ukrainian flag.
Oh, what's that?
It looks like it's 2 stripes. Powder. It looks like powder blue and yellow.
Oh, I thought. Okay, gotcha.
What? Is that what? Not that
No,
listen. We love the Ukraine.
Yeah, we do. A lot of the European flags are just like a stripe, a stripe, a stripe.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, up your game a little bit.
Yeah, throw some stars in there. South Africa, the Philippines, Nigeria, the United Arab Emirates. Wow. How about that? How much extra did it cost to be able to see all that, Tracy?
I don't want to tell everybody.
Okay. Take it out of petty cash.
Too much. Well, I just paid for the whole year because this installment stuff is just crazy.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you to our international listeners. And now you can listen to us on YouTube. So.
Yes.
Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with an all new Enough Already.